What's going on YouTube? It's Chad here, and I'm going to be showing you guys on how to use Sonar. Once again, I did a video about a year ago that was on Steel Series Sonar. I really like this program, and a lot of you guys liked the video I made. And some people had some issues that I know how to fix, and maybe I can clear up a little bit of confusion with the app still, as that tutorial wasn't that great. Now, I'm hoping this one will be a little bit better than that one and more understanding for everybody. If you have any questions or anything like that, please comment them down below in the comment section. I might be able to help you with your audio. Anyway, let's get into the video. So first, you're going to want to download SteelSeries Sonar. Or SteelSeries GG is what it's called. On their website, you want to go to the Sonar tab and hit the download button. I do not have the page up right now. I will leave a link down below so you can download it. Now, I'm currently going to be doing this on my laptop so it doesn't affect my main PC audio. So what we're going to do is start up SteelSeries Sonar. So basically we're going to be like a fresh user. I have set this up before, so it's probably already running. SteelSeries will pop up. In your settings, this is the first thing you want to do and make sure that it's working is make sure Sonar is activated right here. So enable it. You want to make sure that it is activated and you want to run this program on startup. So then your audio is always playing through this app every single time you restart your PC. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go to Sonar. It might have you accept a few things or whatever to get Sonar running. So once you get to this stage, it's going to look a little like this. Now, all of these might be red. I'm not sure why only 3 of them are and 2 of them are normal. But essentially, what I did here is I'm playing it through a capture card right now. So this audio plays to my PC's capture card because I'm doing this on a laptop. So I'm going to set those to the capture card. Now, you can mess around with this audio if you want a little bit. I'm not too sure. Oh, this is my microphone. So basically, microphone here. There we go. Now you can play around with this a little bit and get to know it, get to know the UI of it. I personally do not use the single tracks. So this is if you're not like streaming. Although you can kind of use it, the only problem with this, and I'll show you right now using Sonar. So once you get your settings set up, you got your audio device playing, you have these, you can actually go in here and edit all of these. And this is just like equalizers and stuff like that. You can change how it sounds, your microphone sounds, stuff like that. Mixer is your main mixer audio here, but in OBS, there's a problem with the single streaming thing. So if you're trying to use single tracks and use them in here, so let's add a new one. Let's name this like main audio or media. Let's say media. We'll do media first. Now we're looking for the Steel Series media track. Media. We're looking for media, and usually I add these into a folder. This is the audio track here. Now, if I change, let's play a video. I'm gonna mute this video for you guys. It's playing, but in the recording, you're not gonna be able to hear it. Basically here, it's playing in this track, but if we look at OBS and we bring up Steel Series, let's put it to the side a little bit if I can. I believe if we edit this, it'll actually edit the main audio of that track. As you can tell, it went away when I edited that. If you like that, where you edit this and your stream gets affected by it, sure, by any means, use that if you want. If you find that necessary and you want to use that, I personally don't like it, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on that, is using this is your audio. So whatever you're hearing is what's playing through this tab right now. So this tab also controls OBS right here, and you don't want that. If you want Stream to hear a different audio than what you hear in your ears, let's say, oh, my music's too loud for me. I want to turn it down. Stream can't hear it at all. But you can still hear it, right? But you want Stream to hear it, and people are complaining like, hey, your music or your game audio is not playing. I can't hear your game audio. Can you turn it up? You're like, yeah, I can turn it up. Whoa, that's way too loud for me. That's where you're going to run into problems. This is where you're going to find something that is too loud for yourself, but will be too quiet for Stream. So you want to try to avoid this. That is the main thing when streaming or making videos, is you want to avoid that. Now, how to avoid that is there's a cool little button here in Sonar called streamer mode. Now, there is one thing that I forgot to mention, but we'll turn on streamer mode anyway. If you want to set custom programs to this, as you can tell, you can probably see this right here, which is OBS Studio, because I set up the media track inside of there. It popped up here. Now you can go in programs and deliberately set them. But let's say you have a web browser. You got this right here. You want to set it up to media. You don't see it in here. You can't drag it on. Where is my application? Where can I put this? It's not showing up in Sonar. For it to show up in Sonar, all you got to do is play audio. When you're playing the audio, it'll pop up in whatever track is playing. I have already set it to media. Google Chrome is in media now. The workaround, if you do not see, let's say, Google Chrome or whatever program you're using, you don't see it here. Even though it's playing audio, what the heck? Where did it go? Like right there, it just disappeared. Where did it go? I don't see it anywhere. You can go down to the right here where your audio is. Now, this is on Windows 11. It might be a little different on Windows 10. I'm assuming most people are using on Windows 10 or 11 right now. I am using Windows 11 on my laptop. You can go down here and open Volume Mixer. Another thing I forgot to mention before we do that, make sure Sonar is set to default. It'll yell at you at the top in yellow saying, hey, Sonar is not set as your default device. Make sure it's set. Make sure that Sonar is set as your default device, your default playback, your default communication, your default device. Now that's a little differently with like microphone if you have custom settings, but you don't want to use this microphone, which I personally do use Sonar. What you're hearing right now is Sonar settings on my main PC. It's not the best, but I haven't tweaked them or changed them at all, so I think it's pretty good for default settings. So inside this menu, it's a little small here. Let me make it a little bigger. In Volume Mixer, when you go down to the right, you'll see Volume Mixer, or you can type in Volume Mixer here. So Sound Mixer Options, take you to the same spot. It'll take you right here. This is where all your programs are. So we find Google Chrome, extend that. Output device is what you're looking for. Mine is set to Steel Series Sonar. This is personally how I set up all my audio tracks. All my programs, I go to this menu and I select the track individually for all my programs. The only exception is Discord. Discord is the only one for me that I do not go to that menu for, and I'll show you why right here. So if we go to Sonar here, exposing my messages, oh no. If we go to voice and video, how this should be set up is when we go into our output device here, you want to go to Steel Series Sonar chat. So we have it set up to chat now. Any audio that goes through, so if you're in a Discord call, your friend is talking, any Discord stuff will go through chat now. Now this works for games. So certain games, like newer ones now, they have a setting in the game to where you can set chat to a different audio track. That is what you want to set to this chat menu. Now, I don't do that. I just mute the people and I mute the in-game audio, but you can set that to a different audio track if the game supports it. So like Call of Duty, I believe, supports it. If you play a lot of like Warzone or something, I think that game does support it. I don't use it. I do play that game, but I'm pretty sure they do have that support. So you can have your main audio playing through game. That's another thing too. You're going to be a little confused is my main audio is not called master. Why is it called game? Why is it on the game track? Because your game track is your master track. Technically, it's your main audio. So anything that plays through game is like your main audio. So your PC sounds. So like when it does a ding noise or you plug something in like a USB, that's what will play through game audio. That is your default device. So any game by default will play through your game track. If you don't want those to play through the game track, do exactly what I showed you here. Find the program, make sure it's playing audio. That's another thing too. If we start up Spotify, Sleep with the Sirens, good band. If we play some music here, it'll show up here. You might see two of them, which this is a little confusing too. If you do see two of them, just set them both to that. I use the aux input or output, I mean. The aux output is what I use for the audio track here. So if I go to Sonar, I use aux as that track because that's what I prefer. That's what I like. So that's what I use for that. Another thing too, if you need to check if Sonar is your default device, if it's still yelling at you and it's not working, if you go to your sound settings down here and then you scroll all the way down to more sound settings, I personally like this menu. This little menu is a lot better than I think this menu here because what I like to do here is I find that device. So let's say Sonar Gaming. You can right click and you can set this as default. Not your default communication. What you want set for default communication is your chat. So any programs that take voices, so like any voice chat apps, sometimes will automatically read that, hey, this chat track is the voice track. Let's play to that. They might automatically pick it. They might try it. Anything else that's not like the say people talking or your chat will go to gaming. Make sure these are set. This is how Sonar default sets them to. So you set this as your default device and set this one as default communication device. You can do that manually by right clicking. So like right here, it says set as default. I could do that, but you want to do it for this one. And then you right click this one and you want to hit set as default communication. Recording, Steel Series microphone, or if you have a custom mic setting or a custom, like a different app for your microphone, you can select that app instead as your main audio. That's personal preference. But you make sure those are set up and that you have all your programs in their selected track that you want. And once you have all that set up and you have all your programs set up and stuff, and you want to stream, you're like, hey, I kind of want to stream now. Now, in here, I don't know if I showed you your audio device, but on the left here, this is what it's going to ask you to set up. I probably didn't show you this. I can't remember if I did or not. Personal mix, that is your headphones. So currently I have this playing to a capture card. I think I did mention this. Your stream mix here, this is Steel Series Sonar Stream. Now, there's a little cheat code with the stream mix. You can actually set that up to any device you want. It doesn't have to be that stream mix. I have speakers, right? I want to play audio through those instead, right? I'm not streaming. I want to watch a movie. I got stuff that I want to set up on speakers, you can actually set the stream mix to your speakers and you can edit it with the slide. So like if you enable this, so all of these, right? And you're like, yeah, I want to play this audio through my speakers. You can actually set that stream mix to your speakers. And then if you go to mic input, that's where your microphone is. Mine's microphone array. I have nothing hooked up to my laptop. It's just how it is. But yeah, that's a little cheat code here is you can actually like play them through that. But if you're streaming and you like single track stream, so if you like to stream to a single track, you can actually select Steel Series Sonar and go into OBS here. All right, once you're in OBS, you want to set up your stream. So the personal stream settings that I use is in my streaming, I have the Twitch VOD track checkmarked, and I have that set up to 2. So anything that plays to audio track 2 will play to my VOD after I'm done streaming. Anything in audio track 1 will play while I'm streaming. So usually you want all your audio on audio track 1 so it plays during your stream. And then the ones that you want to play after your stream uploads, so after you're done streaming and your video goes up to Twitch, you want to set that to Twitch track 2 or whatever track you picked there. That's personal preference. So we have a media track here. Go to properties, we have that set to the media track. If you click the little gear in the audio mixer, here you'll see that I have all these selected. Let's say I don't want these selected, right? Sure, it doesn't need to play those tracks. It doesn't have to. That's only if you want to set these to individual tracks for like a recording. And I can show you that too for recording. You go to your output, recording. These are all the tracks that it records. This is where you set up your audio for recording. You select the individual tracks. So whatever you set for these tracks, this is what it'll record. So if I'm recording all 6 tracks. So in my video, it's going to record 6 tracks. Let's add a new audio device and we're going to add the microphone. So we'll just keep it the same name. We'll look for Steel Series Sonar. Microphone. Boom. So now we have a microphone and it's playing to track 1. If we take off all these, you can actually set these to individual tracks. So you're recording 6 tracks right now. You want your main audio set to a different track as your microphone. So later on in your recording, you can actually change the volume of individual track. If you want your microphone on a separate track than your audio so you can up it or change how it sounds without affecting your main audio, this is where you will change that at, is in your tracks. Let's say I want my media in track 1, but I want my microphone on track 2. So it'll only play to that designated track when you record. Same thing goes for streaming. It'll only play to that track. I prefer to have a different scene collection for recording than I do for my streams. The reason behind that is so I can set these audio tracks to whatever I want. So if I'm recording, my recordings will go to different audio tracks and it'll all be set up for recording, for how I like my recording. For streams, a little different because you need one track for all your audio. So you want to set these all to like track 1, right? Because that's where all your main audio plays to. If you don't want them to go to your Twitch VOD track, you uncheck mark that one. So let's say you don't want media going to Twitch. You want it unchecked, but you want it to play while you're live. Keep it on 1 because while you're live, it'll play to that track. And that's whatever you set in here. So if you go to settings, whatever you set for your audio track is what you play all your audio to. So this is selected 1, and that should be by default. Twitch VOD is checked, and that's 2. So now let's just add another audio device. And now what you're adding here is audio outputs. I personally don't use the one in settings. If you go to audio, they have like their own. I feel like there's not enough audio devices there for all your audio. So I personally add them to a folder, and this one's going to be my main audio. So now in OBS, your main audio, what you're looking for is Steel Series Sonar Gaming. So basically what we're looking for is gaming, which is closer to the bottom for me right here. That is my main audio. So we'll put that in the folder. And what we'll do here is we'll actually just rename it to main audio. This one will be mic. And now let's say, oh, hey, I don't want my music to play, or I don't want my main audio to play to Twitch. You just uncheck mark 2. If you check mark 2 and don't check mark 1, it'll still record to your Twitch VOD. So let's say while you're live, you don't want people hearing it while you're live. You can select 2, so it'll go up after the video is uploaded. Now, I don't see why you would do that, but if you select 1, all your audio will play to that track. So whatever you set there while you're live will play. But main audio is probably one of those things that you want there. Now, we're looking for music. So we want to get music in here. You're looking for aux. So the aux would be your microphone for music. And that's one of those things where you do not want your music playing to your VOD. It's okay to play it during live, even though you can still get copyrighted during live. It's very unlikely, but it can happen. So we're going to add another track called Friends. Now, Friends is what we're going to set up for chat. So if we go to chat, that's where our friends will play to. And let's say we want them to go to stream. So while you're streaming, you want them to be in the video. You want them to be in the VOD track. So you keep them on 2. So what I personally do for all of my streams is usually media and music are not checkmarked. so you can't hear either of them. Because I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube, and if I am watching something on YouTube, it's usually music, because I search up music sometimes if it's not on Spotify, and I'll play it through that. So that's why I don't have it in the Twitch VOD, but I still want Stream to hear it. So that's how I have mine set up. And these are crucial for recording, to set them on separate tracks. So if you're recording, it'll look something like this. So we're gonna uncheck mark all of them. We want my microphone to be on audio track 1. Boom, microphone's audio track 1. We want main audio to be audio track 2. We want friends to be audio track 3. We want music to be 4, and we want media to be 5. That's only 5 tracks and 5 audio devices right there. And that would be perfect for recording. Because if you check your recording and you swipe the audio track, or you go to edit your video, so you're editing your video, it has 6 or 5 audio tracks in it. You're like, oh, I want to tweak my microphone. You just go to track 1, which is your microphone in your editing software, and you tweak the audio of that. That doesn't affect any other audio, because they're all to separate tracks. So that's why I love using OBS, is because of the tracks for recording. You can set them to multiple different tracks, and OBS is great for that. Now, another thing that I didn't mention is, if you notice here, so let's say I'm speaking, you can see microphones moving. If I lower this, nothing changes. Same thing with these audios. If I was playing audio through these and I changed them, nothing would change. What these scrollers are for is for your headphones. This one's for the stream track. So whatever you set to this track is what this plays to. So let's say you wanted all these on a single track and you just wanted to use Sonar. Let's say you didn't want to tweak OBS at all, which I think is bad if you're playing music. This is specifically for music users. If you like to play music, always put it on its own track, like I do here. Music. Always keep it on its own track. Never put it in with the stream track. Now, if you didn't want all these separate tracks on OBS, which I personally like, I do like doing that. That's how I set up my streams in my videos, is I always put them on their own tracks. And this is perfect for recording. If you're recording a lot and you want to separate your audio for your recordings, don't do this, what I'm about to show you. And I personally think this is a bad idea. And I think it's good that Sonar includes it, because some people do use this in certain scenarios. But in your audio output here, I believe it's an audio output. We're going to say stream audio. Anything that plays to that stream track, so Steel Series Stream. I'll show you why this is bad for recording. The only way to actually tweak them is like by listening. So you're pre-recorded video, you're like, okay, I like that audio. I like how that sounds. That's perfect. All right, now let's record the video. Instead of editing after, you have to do this all before the video and set these to whatever values you want. You can do this for streaming. And like I said, I personally do not do music to this. I always keep it on its own track, but if you wanted, you could. But that's a huge copyright claim issue. If you're playing copyrighted music, it's going to get copyrighted. And guess what? That entire audio track is getting muted. Whenever that music is playing, it mutes it. It doesn't take down your video unless you get banned or whatever from copyright strikes. It'll mute the audio. And guess what that does on that track? It completely mutes every audio track, all of the audio, instead of just muting the one audio track that is playing music. So I always play it on a separate track, and I make sure it's never in the Twitch VOD, so everything happening is normal. You know, it doesn't get marked for copyright. But this is if you wanted a single track streaming. You set these to whatever your value is for your stream. You listen to it, and you're like, okay, those are good values, and you leave them there. And you can go in here, and you can change them if you want to whatever you want, and that only goes on the single stream audio track. I personally do not like using the stream audio track. I don't like using it at all. The only thing I use Sonar for the stream track here on my main PC is I set the stream mix to my speakers. So basically, if I want to listen to speakers, I set them to that track and I play this and move the slider for my speakers. And that's for like watching movies or doing something on my PC without wearing my IEMs. I don't like to wear my IEM sometimes when, like, let's say watching a movie. So in my room, I have a projector hooked up to my PC that has a sound bar so I can watch movies and stuff. And that's what I use the stream mix for. So if you're like me and you have speakers and you want to listen to them, you can do it that way. Now, the one downside to this is if you change any of these tracks, it won't affect these at all. You have to go in OBS and set these manually for your stream. These don't affect Sonar either. So like you can literally have these maxed out or all the way down, like completely muted. So let's say you mute all of these. Like here, I'll mute my headset. It's still playing. There's still audio because this doesn't affect the tracks that you set up in OBS at all, unless it is that specified stream mix track. So if you're using that track that I just showed you a second ago, that is the only thing that Sonar will affect. Now you can tweak these to your liking for your headphones. And if you use speakers, tweak them to your speakers, or you can just mute it. So you can mute all these for your speakers if you really wanted. Now another thing is I'm going to show you on my main PC here. So we're going to stop recording my laptop. We're going to move over to to my main desktop here. So on my main desktop, we have Sonar set up here. And if you go into settings and scroll all the way down to Sonar shortcuts and find the audio track you want, you can actually edit your volume. So if you're not using streamer mode, you want to edit these 3 keys. This is how you edit your audio with a hotkey. You set your hotkey to whatever you want and you can change the audio of it through a key instead of having to go in this program. So instead of doing this, going manually in it and changing your audio, you can go to settings, set up a keybind. I have a couple already set up. So like for game chat, I have my numpad, so keypad 6. So my numpad 6 while holding alt is volume up for a game. Do 3, goes down, go up. We have a mute key. If I press the mute key, it unmutes it or it mutes it. And I have that set up to the stream mix. So stream here is my speakers. I only set these up for my speakers. For main audio, you can set up your personal. So I'll show you what this means. Is stream, anything that says stream on it is that right track. Anything that's personal is the left track. So personal, left track is your headphones. Stream, right track is your stream track. And that's what I have set up to my speaker, my soundbar. And if you go to chat, I don't have anything set up for that because I don't really tweak that. What I do is I use Discord and I just tweak their voice individually. So I never have to actually tweak the audio track here as I just tweak them in Discord. Music's a huge one though. I have every key set besides personal because I just usually turn it down to mute it or I just pause my music. Stream is for my speakers. So if I'm playing it through my speakers, I just, set the hotkey for that. So if you have a Stream Deck, which I do, and I also have the app on my phones. So I have 2 different phones here that use it and a mini. So on my mini, I have these keybinds set up to those. So I just press a key. So I'm sitting here. I have, let's say, my music, right? I want it to play to my speakers. I just unmuted it by pressing that button right there that's highlighted. So this one, if I press it on my mini, it'll mute it or unmute it. And you can see it at the top right saying muted, unmuted. Speaker. So this is the stream. And you can see what it says too at the top right. It says aux stream. That means it's editing my speaker track. Now I have one set up for ear. So ear is my headphones. This is how I personally select it. The only downside that I'll say about stream or sonar for these is you cannot set these to individual values. You can't. Like it only goes by 5%. If you look, there's no option to set the interval. It only goes by 5% every time you press that volume up or down button. So sometimes in certain scenarios, you'll have to go in and you'll have to individually select your thing because you can get it down to like 1%, but it's always only 5 from wherever it was. So if we max out all of these and we press that button, so I'm pressing my ear, it's going down by 5 every time. And I like that cool little overlay it pops up so you know what audio track you're adjusting. And basically how you do that is you set that keybind in here. So I have these set up to that keybind. So I could either do this on my keyboard. So if I go to my keyboard and I press this button, I just did volume up. Press this button, did the volume down. And basically what I did is I just did a keybind. So I went into here. Yeah, it was system. So this should be by default is if you just do hotkey, it should be default. If not, find a package called system and the packages for Stream Deck. You probably already know how to do that. So what I do is I do hotkey. Basically what that does is I just set the hotkey. I title it what I want. And whenever I press that button on my Stream Deck, it'll act like that's the key presses I'm doing. It's basically a macro. All it's doing is it's a macro, but that's how we do that. I'll show you in this one. So if we go here, this is set up for OBS. So OBS has a plugin called OBS Studio for Stream Deck for your audio, right? Basically what I do is I set these up for mute. I select the source. So what this is reading off of is this source right here. And basically what that does is when I press that button, it'll mute it. So I'll keep talking, I'll be saying something and it just randomly cut me off because I pressed that button. That's how I mute my audio in OBS is I go in my Stream Deck and I set it to a button. So this affects OBS. And I'll show you another cool trick with OBS too, with Stream Deck, is inside of my stream audio folder here, I have all these tracks set up. Now, this is only for my stream setup. As you can tell, these are all muted and stuff. I believe, does this work? Oh, shoot. So some of these work. The Friends one doesn't work. But essentially, I can enable these tracks and all of them will enable when I press those buttons. And what that does is I can change the track in OBS here. So if you look at the bottom right, or bottom left here, or well, the music track, I should say, I have a negative set 30 or a set negative 30 button. Press that, boom. It immediately changed it to 30 without me having to even click it or do anything. All I did was tap that button on my Stream Deck. And What's cool about these buttons is you can set an interval. So if you want to change, let's say my music right now, I have it set to 2. So right here is +2 for this button, and the other button's -2. That's what this is for. And I have it set to adjust. OBS Studio Audio Mixer. So OBS Studio Audio Mixer, that's a plugin that you can get for Stream Deck. And basically, this is how you change your audio for your stream with your Stream Deck without affecting Sonar. Because Sonar doesn't affect these tracks, and you can't affect Sonar with OBS either. So basically, how I do it is I just use these cool little buttons that do 2, and I can set it to -16 or -30 or change it how I like. So if somebody's complaining like, dude, your music is way too loud, you can go in here and you can go boop, 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 boop. Look at that, it's -38 or -30. Is that good for you guys? And they're like, yeah. You're like, okay, cool. We'll set that there. I also have the mute button, so it'll just mute the track entirely. And I have this set up for everything. So I have it set up for 2 intervals. I don't have microphone because usually I don't tweak my microphone. I only tweak other audio because usually my microphone is set. I haven't really tested with this recording. So if I'm a little too loud or whatever, I'll just edit it later in recording because I'm just recording a video. So that's how I have that set up, is those cool little plugins that you can do for Stream Deck or your keybinds. Just make sure in Sonar you have them set up in your shortcuts. And that's how you do that without even having to touch this app. You can literally minimize it, get it in the background. You just go to your buttons here. It'll pop up on the right saying, hey, you just changed your audio by 5%. And then if you have the OBS buttons, you can go in your OBS and just change the track that you're trying to change, like media I'm changing right now, with just the press of a button on your Stream Deck. And I think that's super cool. Anyway, guys, if this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, please comment and ask me like, hey, I couldn't figure this out. I might be able to help you, or other people in the comments can help you. I try to be very, very descriptive and try to be better than the other video that I did, with also showing you some new tricks and new things that you can do with the app. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you, and I'm out.